Get ready for MAFDOMiNUS' Godzillathon! Godzilla 2014. After years after Godzilla Final Wars' release, people were starting to wonder, when is Godzilla going to come back? After all, this was the longest hiatus Godzilla has ever went through, so it's understandable that people are questioning where's the king of the monsters, and I was among those people. I remember back in 2010, it was the height of my Godzilla fanboyism. I bought most of the movies, I have the toys, and 2011 went, and I was starting to get desperate. Where's the new Godzilla movies? Because after that point, I've pretty much seen most of the Godzilla movies, and I was just wondering, is Godzilla going to come back? When's Godzilla going to come back? 2011 went by, and then hits 2012. I was starting to wonder when Godzilla was going to come back, so I turned to the internet, and keep in mind, I was like, 9 years old, and I pretty much didn't understand the concept of a rumor. So when I first heard the news that there was going to be a new Godzilla movie produced by Legendary, I kinda got excited a little without understanding that that was just a rumor. But it was at that point that I was hyped for the new Godzilla movie. But 2012 went by, and 2013 was the year that I guess I lost all of my fanboyism, because that was the year that I focused on other things like video games, school and stuff, and I didn't really have time for Godzilla. It was at that point that I was all like, okay, Godzilla's done, it's over. And for a while, I just took a break off of Godzilla, and yeah, that's really what happened that year. I pretty much almost forgotten about Godzilla. But then, at the end of 2013, something came up that would re-spark the fanboy in me, and that was the trailer for Godzilla, specifically the teaser trailer. And even though the teaser trailer barely showed Godzilla and really only showed him until the end, that got me hyped. At first I couldn't believe it. I thought it was a fake trailer, but I looked it up, and as it turns out, it's real. The new Godzilla movie was heading out for May 2014, and I got pumped. I got excited. Obviously, I had to wait a few more months, but, I didn't care. May finally hit, and I saw Godzilla 2014 in theaters, and, well, I liked it. Even though Godzilla didn't have that much screen time, I loved it. I understand what the movie was going for, and I loved it. I know I just said that 3 times, but it's true. Godzilla 2014 was my favorite movie of 2014. And I still have the movie on DVD, and overall, it's probably one of my favorite Godzilla movies. Now, I understand that this movie is pretty divisive among fans. Yeah, I know, Godzilla returns, and there's already a divisive fan base, but it's not as bad as Star Wars The Last Jedi. Why do I keep bringing up Star Wars? Anyways, the point is, Godzilla 2014, while it did bring back Godzilla, it was pretty divisive amongst fans. A lot of people gave it the same basic criticism. Godzilla wasn't in it for that long. Bryan Cranston's character Joe Brody isn't in it that long. He gets killed off like 20 minutes in, and we are stuck with his son Ford Brody, who is not as interesting. And yeah, you can understand where the criticism is coming from. And I can somewhat agree. I'll admit, Bryan Cranston's character Joe Brody was a pretty cool character. But I kind of like Ford Brody, he's the daring father who wants to get back to his family after the world gets shook by these giant monsters. And not only that, but I also like Dr. Serizawa. Seriously, we're talking about Bryan Cranston, but nobody seems to be talking about Dr. Serizawa and how cool he was in the movie. He's this scientist dude who pretty much has seen the horrors of Hiroshima, I think. Or maybe that was his father, I don't know. But the point is, Dr. Serizawa had ties with the Hiroshima, and oh boy, is he kind of a cool character. He's kind of mysterious, and he's also kind of an exposition dump, but hey, he's the scientist, so it's expected. And not only that, but the Mutos are pretty cool monsters, even though the female Muto kinda reminds me of the Cloverfield monster. Also, what's with the Mutos trying to reproduce? I mean, isn't that the plot of the '98 movie? Oh god. But it doesn't matter, at least Godzilla's not pregnant in this one. So the Mutos are pretty cool. I like For Brody and Dr. Zarazawa, and even though Joe Brody gets killed off in the first 20 minutes, I don't mind it. But here's the thing that kind of ticks me off about this movie. Godzilla's barely in it. And yes, I'll admit, Godzilla isn't in the other movies that much either, but it's not about what the previous movies did, it's about what the new movie could do, and it's kind of a missed opportunity. But I will argue this, even though Godzilla's barely in the movie, it builds up suspense until it pays off at the end, because the final battle is a beast! Oh boy, the final battle was pretty cool. And overall, even though, yes, there is a lot of criticism that this movie keeps getting, and the criticism is pretty valid, I still like this movie. It's my favorite movie of 2014, and not only that, but this was the first Godzilla movie I've seen in theaters, on the big screen, so I have a soft spot for it. Why do I keep giving a lot of Godzilla movies soft spots? I'm starting to get a little bit of wussy, but... Anyways, overall, Godzilla 2014 is not a perfect film, but it is the return of the King of the Monsters, and it's a pretty big welcome back. Overall, it may not be the best movie in the entire world, but it is still a good movie. I highly recommend it for those of you who are interested, but we'll have to wait a few more years until the sequel could come out with Rodan, Mothra, and King Ghidorah. In the meantime, we'll check out the next Godzilla movie, Shin Godzilla.